Hi guys, in today's review we're looking at something a little bit different in the hobby, and this is a Hornby limited edition 040 tank engine in the livery of the Trotters Independent Trading Company, or TITCO. And this is in, like I said, the Only Fools and Horses brand. As people know, I'm a big fan of Only Fools and Horses. I've got a few of their wagons. I thought I'd try out their Loco. I know it's a basic Loco. We do have a product code for this. It's R30326. Like I said, this is a limited edition. You can get it from several places, which the links will be down below in the description. I got mine from the official Del Boy online shop, and I paid £58 for this, which I don't mind paying that for something that's a limited edition and something that I like. So let's get into the review and see what it's all about, shall we? Starting somewhere different now, we'll start on the back of the box. On the back of the box, it does have a little story to go with the tank engine. It says, back when the Trotters were decorating the Golden Loach kitchen, Grandad found himself whistling "This is the age of the train" all day long, as the paint just happened to be very similar and luminous to the British Railway yellow. Now, with this vintage BR tank engine, done up in the TITCO livery, or the Trotters Independent Company livery, Peckham's finest family have finally taken to their first pucker step, shunting into the age of the train. Moving on to the details you do get a few details to add on this basic railroad locomotive, and that is what I like to call Bill and Ben, which is the fireman and driver. We also get some air pipes or vacuum pipes on the sprue. We also get an instruction with the basic information on telling you about the locomotive, how to make it DC ready and all that sort of good stuff, how to run it in, how to remove body, maintenance, and TV possessors as well as some other things as well in there. It's quite basic, but it's handy for beginners. As we move now on to the front of this fine looking locomotive in this livery, this is a basic railroad locomotive. The tooling for this has been around probably from the 70s. We do have a big decoupling. Again, doesn't bother me. You can get kits to change that if you really wanted to, but for a basic locomotive it does the job. We have black plastic buffers, not sprung, but the black. We also have a maroon or red colour buffer beam and housing. It's all one piece of moulding, but it's quite good. We have a few rivets on there as well. We also have, which looks like to be a chain link and a hook moulded on as well. Not painted different colours, just the same colour. As far as I can see, there's no lamp on it as we move on up or anything like that. We do have a black going on, which is quite nice. We also have the smoke box door and rivets and hinges. They're in black, nothing's painted or separately. The door doesn't open. I believe we have a moulded on handrail at the top too, and then we have the chimney as well. As we now do a look at the side of this locomotive, both sides are exactly the same, this being a railroad locomotive, and it's quite basic. At the front where the chimney is, it is in black as you can see, which is great. The splashes are in the Trotter Independent yellow, so are the tanks as well. We do have some fine tampo printed on the tanks, which did surprise me, which is the Trotters Independent Trading Co., New York, Paris and Peckham, or the TITCO as it's named on the box. That is crisply printed and it is nice. It does represent the Only Fools branding pretty well. The wheel configuration for this small locomotive is a 040. The axles have not been covered up or anything like that, but it's a basic locomotive. It probably keeps the cost down. If you wanted to paint them over yourself, you can do some black paint. The running board on this is in a red or maroon colour. So are the steps near the cab doors. The cab doors themselves are in yellow. We also have a number for this locomotive, and I actually like this number. The number for this locomotive is 1981, which is when Only Fools and Horses aired originally. That is a nice touch. I do like that. It's a nice throwback as well. We do have some windows in the cab, well, not glazed, but if you want to glaze them, there's kits out there. As we move on to the back of this locomotive, we do have the big decoupling again. We also have black buffers, which are plastic and not sprung. We also have the buffer beam and housing in a red or maroon colour. We also have a hook too. There's some holes on there somewhere for your detail parts to go to. As we move on up, again it's in the yellow of the Trotter Independent Trading Company, or TIT Company. We have a hole in the centre there, that is to help you get the shell off the chassis. It does the job. In the centre we have the light. Again, not painted over, it's just in the livery of the Trotters Independent Traders, but if you wanted to cover it up, you can, or paint it a different colour, you can. Like around the cab side, we had some cold rails, but this side we don't. Doesn't really bother me, but it's there. And if you look closely, you can see the windows as well. As we do an aerial view now on this model, starting in the usual places, which is the coal load and the roof of the cab. The coal load itself is in black, the coal bunker itself is in yellow. The coal is not removable. The roof itself is in black as well, no rivets or anything like that. Moving along now to the boiler itself. The boiler and tanks are in this yellow of the Trotters Independent Trading Company. We do have water filler caps at the end of the tanks. They don't move or anything, they're moulded in. We also have a dome as well. There's no markings on the boiler for any boiler banding at all. It possibly could have done with some black boiler banding, if I'm honest, only my opinion. And then we get to the end, which has the chimney and the buffers. Again, the chassis and the shell is plastic, but the wheels are metal. And finally, as we do an underneath look now at the chassis, at both ends you can see the big decoupling. You can also see at the front a screw to hold in the shell, I believe. As we move along to the centre, you can also see the BBC logo printed on there, because Only Fools is part of BBC. We also have a cog to help you oil this model, part of your maintenance. We do have pickups on all four wheels. We also have wheels that are solid at the back for contact, which is great. If it does the job, it's perfect. Again, we have a screw in the centre, which is basically to hold the motor in place. So please don't unscrew that unless you're replacing a motor. Next to that, we have Made in China and Hornby, and do not put this in the bin, as that's what it says. And then we have the European stuff at the end. As you can tell by all the wheels, like I said, they are metal, and we have metal rods as well. This should be an easy maintained locomotive for anybody. So yeah guys, that's it on the track. So next up will be the usual, well, points test. There's no point me doing second radius test because it's so small it will do first radius. So I'm just going to do points test. I do have a feeling this might get stuck on a few points, but here goes, let's find out, shall we? What's that? 25? So yeah, it managed that pretty well, if I'm honest with you. Probably a little fast for like this size, but it managed it nonetheless. Next up, we'll have some slow speed running session and we'll find it a train to pull and see you at the end. So here goes. Again, not too bad, 30. So yeah guys, that's the end of the review and running session for you. For my opinion, I'll tell you what it ran with, which was my Only Fools and Horses rail van, ×2, and the 2 Peckham Spring water tankers ×2 as well. And then finally we have a Southern pre-grouping guards van at the end. At this point in time, there isn't an Only Fools guards van, which it really needs to be one, if I'm honest. It's only my opinion. As for the model itself, will appeal to several people: collectors, Only Fools and Horses fans, and model railway fans that like unusual things, and even people who collect limited edition stuff. For me, I do think there's a market in there. I understand the pricing, I understand why it's high. Hornby have to make a profit, and so does the company that commissioned or asked Hornby to make this model. And speaking of the model, you can get it from 3 official places. One being the Del Boy website, where I got mine from. Like I said, that was £58. I think it's £3 postage as well. You can also get it from eBay, and I think the eBay one's around more of the £60 mark, a little bit dearer on eBay because of the fees, I believe, for selling. And we also get it from Amazon. Again, it's around the £60 mark, again, I believe, from fees. From speaking to the company, or the guy who runs the company, that's what he told me. And that seems fair enough. I knew it was going to be a highish price for this anyway, especially the way Hornby do the Beatles stuff. It's 10% extra for a Beatles livery. You won't be able to get these from Hornby, just them 3 places. The links will be down below if you're interested in buying one or just looking at it really. For me, like I said, I'm a big Only Fools and Horses fans. It was really a must, even if the price was what it is, but I don't mind paying that for a limited edition item. Like I said, there's nothing wrong in this model. It runs perfectly well. It can do slow speeds. It does stutter over points, if I'm honest with my points anyway, simply because it's short wheelbase and the pickups don't seem to be that big. It could do with a wagon with some wires in and more pickups. Maybe that's a project for the future. Who knows? I understand this isn't everyone's cup of tea, this model. Delivery, the whole works. I understand that. I get it. But the other 2 were popular, so why not do a locomotive? And to be honest with you, delivery doesn't look too bad. It's got some fantastic touches on it. It's got the year it was commissioned by the BBC. It's also got delivery. Yeah, like I said, and the detail bit, it could have done with some boiler banding lining, even if it's plain black. But if it's to keep costs down, it's okay with me. So that's my opinion or review on this limited edition Hornby Only Fools and Horses Loco. I hope you enjoyed the review. Sorry it wasn't much, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. So please take care and goodbye.